So I'm switching it up a little bit today. I'm in a different part of my house, just kind of sat down in the living room and kind of felt like filming. And today's gonna be a little bit different because it's more of a chit-chatty, I guess, another natural hair talk type of video. I was just kind of doing some reflecting because one of my subscribers, hey guys, one of my subscribers has mentioned that it was funny that I, 4 months ago, had made a video about how much I hated transitioning, and now I'm like looking forward to seeing my curls and stuff like that. And I just kind of sat around and started reflecting on the fact that I really have grown through this process. And I mean, I still get frustrated. Do not get me wrong. I still get very frustrated, and I'm still sincerely looking forward to cutting off all of my hair. But I just started to reflect and realized how much I have grown in these past like 4 or 5 months or so. And I wanted to maybe give some tips for people who are still struggling as much as I was. So as you can tell right now, I do have my hair straight. So I'm cheating a little bit because I'm not struggling as much as I usually am. I just kind of felt like straightening my hair. I had taken a huge break from direct heat, a huge break, almost made it 6 months without straightening my hair. And then I straightened it and then I straightened it again because I have a lot of events going on this month. It's the month of May and it's finally warming up in Toronto. So lots of things to do, lots of places to go out. So I really felt like doing my hair, but I'm gonna go back to protective styling and roller sets and all of that good stuff. I just felt like looking cute for a little bit while the sun was out. So I have my phone in my hand because I do have notes that I'd written down about how I had learned to love my hair. The first way that I learned to kind of get on board with this transitioning process was to remember that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. A lot of times that light seems super far away and you kind of forget why you're doing it, but you just have to find ways to remind yourself why you're doing what you're doing and why you're struggling through it. So the best ways that I've figured out how to learn to love the process is to watch other girls going through it. I would suggest subscribing to people who are close to or a little bit ahead of the journey that you're on. So I found, I don't care how many subscribers somebody has, like you could have like 2 views, but I'm currently 14 months post-relaxer, about to be 15 in about a week. And if I see somebody who's around 12 months to 18 months, I'm subscribing. I just want to see what you're doing to see what I can do better. So I'm jumping on any bandwagon of anybody who is around the same, in the same part of the journey that I am. So a lot of girls on Instagram. So I suggest following some great Instagram accounts. I will try to list them right here. There's a lot of great Instagram accounts that focus solely on natural hair and transitioning hair. And following those accounts really helped me out because I got to compare myself to people who are maybe not necessarily the same hair type as me, but just on the same path as I am. So all of us just want to get to our best natural self. And it's really exciting to see other people going through that journey and figuring it out along with you and realizing that you're not alone. It's not all rainbows and sunshine for everybody, because a lot of times YouTube, and I don't even know how to put this without sounding mean, but a lot of time these YouTubers just want to show you the good and they never want to show you the bad. So they just want to be like, oh, how to do the perfect flexi rod set. But they don't want to show you like the 12 times that they failed before that. So it's kind of nice to follow some people on Instagram because they'll complain and they'll show you the real. And they'll tell you how much, you know, transitioning can be annoying, and it kind of does suck. But it's worth it. It's fun to find real people and surround yourself with real people who are going through the same struggles as you. Yeah, definitely check out those Instagram accounts. They have helped me tremendously, because I was getting to that point where I started to feel like I was alone and I was the only person who didn't like protective styling, who didn't like flexi rods. I felt like I was the only person who would slip up and put heat on their hair. Like, I mean, a lot of these times, natural hair YouTubers and transitioning YouTubers will just kind of tell you what not to do, and they'll kind of come at it in a preachy way instead of telling you like, hey, this is what I did. And this is why it doesn't work, and admitting their fault. There's a huge focus on their image and you know, you want to look perfect. You want to act like you're perfect. And I get that. It's human nature, but I want some realness. I want people to admit their faults, and I want people to, I don't know, make me feel like a normal human being who's struggling and complaining. But my next tip would be to learn to love your own hair. So I went through a point in my journey where I would say like the 8-month to 12-month mark. Yeah, 8 to 12 months or so, where I feel so bad admitting this actually, but I just went on a rant about how people should be real, so I'll just say this out loud. I went through a point in my journey where I hated my hair. It was that point where I had enough new growth to know what was coming in, and I was disappointed. I went through a point where I was really tempted to relax my hair and just be like, you know what, forget this. At least when I had texturized hair, I enjoyed my texture. It was easy. I knew how to do it. I knew what kind of products I needed. I knew everything about it, and I liked my hair. But 8 to 12 months in, I started to see my texture coming in, and I was not happy. It was frizzy. It was unmanageable. I didn't see any sort of curl pattern whatsoever. I just wasn't happy. And there's going to be a point in your transition. It's pretty inevitable that you're going to feel that same way. And if you don't, I'm jealous. I hope for everybody that there's never a point where you don't like the hair that's coming out of your head. But the reality is, and this is something that not a lot of people will tell you, is that there's going to be a point where you're not happy with what you have, and you start to compare yourself to others, and that will make you feel bad about yourself. And I started to feel bad about myself. I started to look in the mirror and think like, why am I even doing this? Like, why am I even struggling for something that I don't necessarily like? I was comparing myself to all these pretty little IG models. I was comparing myself to all these little IG models, and their perfect coils and perfect little ringlets and perfect little protective styles, and their edges were on fleek. And I'm just looking at myself like, I don't know what is coming out of my head. I'm not liking it. And it was a period of self-hate. I will be honest with you. I encourage you to stick it out. If you get to the point where you big chop, you cut your hair, and you're still not happy, it's your prerogative to do with your hair what you like. If you want to go back to relaxing, don't feel bad about it. There are going to be people who want to make you feel bad for relaxing your hair, or wearing weaves, or wearing wigs, whatever it may be. There are people who are going to make you feel bad for whatever you do. If you go natural, people are going to judge you for going natural. Oh, you look so much better with a weave. You look so much better with your hair relaxed, blah, 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 blah. If you go natural and then you relax your hair, everybody's gonna be like, do you even love yourself? Do you feel empowered? You must have low self-esteem. There's always gonna be naysayers. So just do what makes you happy. What made me happy is waiting. And now that I'm at 14 months post-relaxer, I am happy with what I'm seeing, and it's starting to feel more manageable, and I found a routine that works for me. So that kind of brings me to my next point, which is find a protective style. Makes life easier for you. For some people, that's a flexi rod set. That did not work for me. Just a side note. For some people, that's wash and goes. For me, what worked is roller sets, and I'll actually link a video. I won't go into too much detail because I do have a video on how roller sets have changed my transition, and I will link that down below for you guys. Roller sets have helped me immensely and have actually helped with my self-esteem, because transitioning has tried my self-esteem. It has tried my self-esteem. And I do have a video coming soon on how to do a roller set. I'm just still perfecting my craft, and I want to be able to help you guys and not confuse you guys. So I'm still trying to figure out how I can teach someone to do a roller set, but I will have a video on how to do a roller set coming soon. So my next tip is setting goals for yourself. So my goal for myself is to big chop at 18 months. It's not like a firm goal. I'm not gonna hit 18 months and say, okay, I'm gonna chop my hair today, whether I'm ready or not. That's just kind of the little goal that I've set for myself, and where I would like to chop my hair, but if I don't feel comfortable and I don't like the length of my hair at that point, I will extend. Even though I'm struggling, I will extend my goal. if I have to. So set goals that you feel comfortable with. I'm 3 months away from my big chop and I'm getting nervous, but I'm starting to get more ready by the day. So if you have an end goal in sight, you kind of, everything, it feels more worth it. And my end goal is to big chop at 18 months. And day by day, I keep psyching myself up for it, because now that 15 months have flown by, I'm starting to realize how fast 3 months is gonna go by. And can you tell I'm nervous? Even thinking about it? Like, I'm very nervous to cut my hair off. But yeah, so set goals for yourself, little goals. Set little goals for yourself, whether it's I will chop 1 inch off next month, or I will lay back or fall back on the heat, or I will learn a new protective style, or I will cut off all my hair at 18 months post-relaxer. Just set little goals for yourself, just so that you have something to look forward to. So yeah. And my last tip for how I learned to love this process is, strangely enough, as someone who fears short hair, trimming my hair has helped me a lot. Funny enough that this just fell over, I actually just cut this piece and I cut it a little bit too short. So it keeps falling and it's freaking me out, but it's okay, hair grows. That's something I've learned during this process, is that hair grows. Trimming my hair has helped me a lot, just because I've been doing it slowly. Eventually you're gonna have to cut the ends off. So just learn to let go, learn to move on, and stop being so attached to your security blanket. So the way that I've learned to kind of let go and move on is, instead of thinking about what I'm cutting off, I kind of focus on what I've gained. So when I cut my hair off, I try to cut off as much as I've grown in. So if I grow 1 inch in, I cut 1 inch off. And curly girls and transitioning girls, you all know that shrinkage is a huge problem. With the shrinkage, your hair is gonna look so, so short. So right now, while it's straight, my hair is past my collarbone. It's just right above my chest here. But when it's wet, it's more like up here, like above my collarbone. And that can be frightening sometimes. But if I just focus on the fact that, no, yes, honey, you have these inches, don't focus on how it looks, you know, it's bouncing above your shoulder, or kind of get panicked. Instead of focusing on how short it looks, because it's above my shoulders when it's wet, I focus on the inches that I know that I have. So focus on what you have coming in instead of focusing on what you have coming out. So my whole goal throughout this transition is to retain the length that I started with, so that when I do my big chop, anything from there is just additional growth. So that's what I've tried to do to help me let go and move on and detach myself from my hair and the feeling of security that it brings me. Because I know it sounds silly, but to me, hair has always been kind of what I hide behind. It has kind of always been my biggest identifier, especially in high school. I did always walk around with curly hair, even though it was texturized, it was curly. So people always knew me as, you know, Steph, curly hair, big hair. And losing that kind of made me look at myself and think like, well, who are you? And that sounds crazy. And and through this transitioning journey, I've realized how crazy that sounds. So I am thankful for the process. And I think the fact that I'm so grateful for what transitioning has taught me has made me kind of love the process more. So even on my frustrating days, I just kind of look back and realize like what I've gained, and it all just kind of seems worth it. Anyways, if you guys somehow made it to the end of this video of me rambling about my natural hair and transitioning and how it's made me feel, and you enjoyed it and you want to see more of my transitioning journey, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe down below, and leave your comments, because I really do love hearing what you guys think, and I love hearing from you guys, the good, the bad, the ugly. I really don't care. I just kind of like to know that people are listening and enjoying what I'm doing, because I just do this for fun. So yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.